It's the JT Cho Show!
10, 9, 8, 6, 5,
How do you control Dennis Rodman? So they basically cut the team. They went for a rebuild, and Michael Jordan retired, came back to the Wizards. Who cares about his Wizards career? He was in Space Jam.
He was in Space Jam.
And so...
Are you going to watch Space Jam too?
Of course.
Yeah, me too.
Have to.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, go. Let's move on.
Yeah, there's our basketball list. That was, maybe we should have just done 5.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean...
What are we at right now? How long have we been talking?
An hour and 3. But we
it's not
we
bad.
can whiz through the top 5 or the other ones in just a
Yeah,
second.
no, these would be easier. I'm a lot more knowledgeable on these ones. I also didn't take notes, but I know these guys.
So we want to do QBs, receivers, or running backs first for the
You
NFL.
tell me.
Let's do running backs. I'll just go here. We'll just make it a little quicker format, and we can go back and forth, and then you can do yours, and then
Okay.
I'll let you do top 5 receivers, and then I'll go second.
We'll start with receivers. So you want me to do all my top?
Yeah, so do all your top receivers. I'll do mine, and then I'll start running backs. You do yours, and then we'll go back and forth for quarterbacks.
So I'm gonna start at 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 1 to 5.
Okay, receivers.
Wide receivers. So number 1 for me is Jerry Rice,
Yep.
leader in every stat possible.
And if it's the same, we're just going to skip me. So Jerry Rice is the same.
Okay.
Top number 1. 3 Super Bowls. He had a record season of 1,549 yards.
Mhm.
He had a career of 22,895 yards. And he had to be and his other NFL record is he had 197 touchdowns as a receiver.
Yeah. So he had touchdowns,
I'm talking touchable.
catches.
Catch a ball wherever you threw it to him.
Yeah. Great route runner. Wasn't a burner. Was not a burner.
But he was a guy.
He just ran routes correctly and he knew how to
if
play.
he had a
defenders.
quarter step on somebody, he's going to get it.
Yeah. No. Great hands.
Yep.
Great hands.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Megatron.
Okay.
Don Johnson.
Mine differs, so talk about him.
So I put him at the number 2 because if you were to create a wide receiver on Madden that you wanted to be just like way too fucking good for the game,
Yeah.
it'd be him. 6'5", 2-3 40-yard dash, 40-inch vertical, hands of a god, hard to tackle. He was the greatest dude to play the position all around.
I beat the Seattle Seahawks coming off their Super Bowl season solely because of Megatron with one play I played the whole game. Unfucking stoppable.
You would lob it up to him. If it's 1-on-1, he's got the ball.
All right. Number 3.
Number 3 for me is Randy Moss.
Okay.
He is the faster, not as bulky version of Megatron. He's for as little dominant years as he had in the league, because he was very dominant at the beginning of his career, and then he went to the Raiders and had a lull, and then he went to the Patriots and had a little resurgence.
Resurgence? Come back?
He came back.
Yeah.
He came back with the Patriots and broke some records with Brady, and he ran, a 4.26, 6'4", 46-inch vertical.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Never dropped a fucking ball. Like, everyone talks shit saying that he didn't like coming over the middle. Look at the highlights. There's plenty of video of him coming over the middle, making crazy catches, and just track meet after that.
Yeah.
They turned his name into a verb. He mossed people.
Yeah. He should go to jail for that.
He's
Joe Buck.
easily my number 3.
Yep.
So number 4 and 5, these might be a little weird for people. So my number 4 is Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay. I'll say he's an honorary for me.
He's the most consistent wide receiver to play the game.
He's very good.
He
Still
has
playing.
more tackles in the NFL than he has drops.
And that's saying that I play for shitty quarterbacks and I have to tackle on offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So he has less than, 30? We'll just say 30 for the sake of argument. He has less than 30 drops in his NFL career. He's played for, 13,
Something ridiculous.
12, 13, 14 years?
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous. That's
and,
insane.
And his size.
He's never had a great quarterback with him. Carson Palmer, best quarterback he's played with?
Did he play with Warner?
Kurt Warner.
Yeah,
Kurt
Kurt
Warner.
Warner.
Okay, Kurt Warner is the best quarterback he ever played with. Got one chance at a Super Bowl. Had a great play. And almost got the tackle on Harrison
Yep.
before he scored that interception. My number 5 spot's T.O. Terrell Owens.
Yep.
Best route runner to ever play the game.
Yeah. Very, very above, like,
Has all the numbers, top 5 in every category. Best route runner. Without the mouth and a little more longevity, I think he'd be at the number 2 spot.
so your number 2 was Calvin, number 3 was Randy. I have those switched. Randy's my number 2.
Interesting.
Randy-
I like that. I have no argument with that.
Randy has 23 touchdowns in 2007. That's an NFL record.
Big.
5 seasons he led the league in touchdowns.
Yep.
Most touchdown receptions in the season, 23 in 2007.
Most by a rookie as well.
Most touchdown reception by rookie,
Mhm.
17 in 1998.
Yeah, with the Vikings.
Most seasons with 17 or more touchdown receptions. Most seasons with 16 or more. Most seasons with 11 or more. And he's tied with Jerry Rice for the 8 and the 10 and the 11. So Calvin Johnson, he set the NFL record in 2012 with 1,964 receiving yards in the season.
Big.
Megatron, he was a larger than life. He was big target, big hands.
Big. If
Revis
you're-
Island shut him down that one game for the Jets.
One game, Revis would have been in the top 5 for my cornerbacks.
Calvin's the fastest receiver to 11,000 yards.
Impressive.
Most
because he
receiving-
played with shit quarterbacks.
Most receiving yards in a 6-game
Other
span.
than Stafford. I guess Stafford's not shit. He's above mediocre.
Michael Irvin.
Oh, you got Irving in there. I like that.
Michael Irvin is tied with Calvin Johnson for the most 100 receiving yards in a single season, which is 11. And then the most consecutive game with at least 10 receptions. He
That's
owns
impressive.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
he was also targeted a lot. He was basically
he was
the Michael
there.
Thomas of his team.
Yeah, he didn't have the hot number 2.
Not to talk shit about Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a great player, and I
Yeah.
don't know why everyone's giving him shit for the amount of targets he gets. Like, if you're a great player, you're going to get looked at.
So your number 5 was T.O. I put him at number 4.
Okay.
He's the only player in NFL history to score 2 or more touchdowns against all 32 NFL teams.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
He's the only player in NFL history to have 800-yard receiving with 5 different teams.
Didn't know that either.
So he's kind of a better version of quarterback for the Dolphins last year, Fitzpatrick.
Oh, Fitzpatrick.
So he's
Yeah,
a better
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
He's a better Fitzpatrick at his position.
Okay.
He's the only player in NFL history to have a 150 receiving yard game with 5 different teams. And he's the only player in NFL history to have 200-yard receiving games with 3 different teams. And why I put him so high, too, is it didn't matter who his quarterback was. He's a great receiver.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the quarterback makes a receiver, but sometimes you can have a great receiver and you just waste his talents.
Yep.
Yep.
It happens.
And then number 5, I put Chad Ochocinco.
I don't even argue that.
And
so Ochocinco would
Chad
give
Johnson.
T.O. a run for his money for route running.
I think
He might have had faster feet. He might have had
Yes.
faster cuts.
Yes.
I think his knowledge of the route tree puts him behind T.O. But even then, it's like debatable. Like they could.
Chad
Chad
Ochocinco, I think,
Ochocinco
had
is an honorable mention. for
I
me.
think he had faster feet,
Definitely.
but I think Terrell Owens had better routes. So Chad Ochocinco, if you watch his highlights, he will move his feet 15 times.
Choppy.
He'll chop his feet
Fuck.
before
15
you
times in a second. Like,
before
it's
you even
insane.
take a breath.
Yeah, you don't even get to see him. It's like watching a helicopter move. Like you don't even see his feet move.
He was a 6-time Pro Bowl selection, 4-time All Pro Bowl selection. He was the NFL receiving yards leader in 2006, and he's part of the 10,000 receiving yards club.
Big club, not
And-
little club.
And I just think his talent, speed, quickness, and feet.
He had hands too. Like
Yeah.
don't discount his hands. He was also a great catch.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll move right on to running backs. And I'll start off with my top 5.
Okay. Good.
I'm going to start from, let's see, my list. I don't need this. Fuck it, we'll do it live. I'll start from 5 to 1.
Okay.
Adrian Peterson at number 5.
I got the same guy.
All right, Adrian Peterson, fantastic rusher, part of our generation of running backs.
Yeah, the earliest, the first 8 years of his career, there was nobody better at the position.
In 2009, he led the league in touchdowns. He was the NFL MVP and
On trash teams.
Yeah, the
like there was
Vikings.
only he had like 2, maybe
who
2,
Dante Culpepper.
and
then-
Favre. Like those
Yeah.
are the guys he played
Favre
with.
was one of his better years too.
Oh yeah, no, that was a
Yeah.
great year. Like he played
2000
on maybe 2 good years where he had a bunch of people around him.
Where he had a threat on quarterback to take the pressure off the running back.
Yeah, and that was back when like Sidney Rice, Percy Harving were on the squad,
Yeah.
and they would take a little bit of the pressure off of him. He was rolling over people, around people.
And he led the league in rushing in 2008, 2012, and 2015. Number,
Just sub 4.3 too. But it's like, I mean, he's a big guy.
number 4, O.J. Simpson. Okay.
O.J.
The Juice, okay?
Okay.
He was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year with 143.1 yards per game in 1973.
I like O.J. as a football player.
I think he's a fantastic running back.
Yep.
I think at his time, for the toughness of the era, he was throwing in the yardage,
He was a big guy.
the yards after contact,
6'3", fast,
killed his wife.
tough to tackle,
but-
tough to catch in a
Go
Bronco.
follow him on Twitter because it's hilarious.
Yeah,
Hey,
the Twitter
And if the
guy.
glove don't fit,
Twitter
you
god.
must acquit. But I just put OJ up there. I think he was completely dominant. My top three were hard, and it's one of those things, like you said, you could argue, but...
So my fourth, Emmitt Smith.
Oh, okay, yep.
I got him down at 4. I know he's like a leader in a lot of stats. I think he was a product of his offensive line
And he had Troy
and
Aikman.
the other offensive threats that were on the team.
Yeah.
Um,
He had glossy-eyed fucking Troy Aikman, if you ever watch football.
Oh,
He
yeah.
looks like he's high all
Troy,
the time.
no, like slides on Troy. Troy's got 3 rings. Like I can't talk shit to him at all.
I have 0.
He's just Troy was a great player, and he had great people around him, just like Emmett. But Emmett, he made the best of a great situation.
Yeah.
And that's why he's 4 on my list.
Okay, that's fair. My number 3 is LaDainian Tomlinson.
Ooh, okay.
He was the MVP in 06.
Mhm.
In 2006,
Impressive as a running back.
he set an NFL record of 28 touchdowns in a season. He led the league in touchdowns in 04 and 07.
Mhm.
For playing for the Chargers, they're the most consistent regular season team at the time that he was playing for them.
They were a great regular season team.
Terrible playoff team.
Terrible fucking playoff team.
But I think he was just one of those running backs where you're like, if I can pick top 5 for fantasy, he's always going 3 or 4.
I would argue the first, like those early 2000s to like maybe 2009,
Yeah.
he was your number 1.
Yeah, he was great.
Like I don't think there was someone else you picked over him. Maybe like Adrian Peterson, like his second year, maybe.
Yeah.
But like
Who's your number 3?
LT's a beast. My number 3 running back all time is Barry Sanders.
Wow, that makes a mystery.
Yeah.
For me.
So Barry Sanders is my number 3. Great fucking running back. One of the most elusive backs the most elusive back to ever play the game. Wasn't very
Crazy.
big. Was very fast.
Shared an MVP with Brett Favre.
Shared an MVP. Didn't get a whole lot of opportunity in the playoffs.
No
He would
support.
carry his team, much like LaDainian Tomlinson, would carry his team to the playoffs,
Yep.
and then the rest of the team would just shit the bed.
Right. My number 2 is Emmitt Smith. So just to tag on some Emmitt Smith, he was the 93 NFL MVP, won 3 Super Bowls. In 91 through 93, no, that's something else. But he led the league in touchdowns in 1992, 1994, 1995, and he led the league in yards in 1991 through 93 and through 1995.
Very
So
impressive.
that's 4 out of 5 years where you're leading the team in leagues and you got 3 Super Bowls from it.
Very impressive.
And then, who's your number 2?
LT.
LT.
Thompson.
Okay, he has somebody now that I don't have on my top 5 list.
Yeah.
My number 1 is Barry Sanders.
I like that. I have no argument with that.
And
The fact that my number 1 isn't even in your top 5 is a little concerning for me,
yeah,
but it's not that big of a deal.
no,
Because my guy was a great fucking player.
okay.
And I feel like he's appreciated, but not as much as he should be.
I'll go over my quick Barry Sanders stats. Most seasons with 1,100 yards or more. He's tied with Walter Payton.
That may or may not be my number 1.
Walter Payton also had 10.
Yeah.
Most consecutive seasons with 1,100 yards, 10 in a row. Most seasons with 1,300 or more yards rushing, tied with Walter Payton. Most seasons with 1,400 yards or more, he had 7. Most consecutive seasons with 1,400 more rushing yards, tied with Emmitt Smith, he had 5. Most seasons with 1,500 more or more rushing yards, he had 5. He had an NFL record 25 games in which Barry Sanders rushed for 150 or more yards. Jim Brown is tied for second with 22 games.
I think it's very funny that neither of us had Jim Brown in our top.
Top 10 he would have definitely been.
Oh yeah, top 10 he would have been in there.
And the last stat I'll throw down your throat is the NFL record for 46 games in which Barry Sanders had 150 yards from scrimmage or more. Walter Payton is in second with 45, so 1 game more than Walter Payton. So top 1.
Walter Payton's my number 1.
Okay,
He's my number 1. He was a bigger body. He was 6 feet tall, 220, ran a 4.4, was running over people, around people. He's sweetness. sweetness. He owned Chicago before Michael did.
Yeah. The bus. He'd be
Honorable
my
mention.
top 10 for sure. But
My number 6
was Walter Payton.
Your number 6 is Walter?
Yeah.
God, that's crazy to
Yeah.
me. My number 6 was Earl Campbell.
Okay. Yeah. I think he was like as I was looking, he would have been 7 or maybe.
Yeah, so he doesn't have all the numbers. He didn't play as long as the other guys did. He played maybe just as long, maybe a little bit longer than Barry Sanders. Maybe I'd say under 10 years. But he was just a big bruising guy. He was a bowling ball, wrecking crew of a guy.
Yeah.
My favorite play of his was he ran through a dude. He grabbed onto his jersey and he tore off the backside of it. And he stumbled for like 15 more yards, and it looked like his jersey was a cape. It was ripped off of his
He's
body.
Superman at that point.
Yeah, no, it was crazy.
Right.
He flat backed Jack Tatum.
Right.
He used to play hardcore safety for the Raiders back in the day. Just fucking.
So those are our running backs. Those are our receivers. Let's move on to the QBs.
Oh,
We'll finish
this
up
is
with
the big one.
quarterbacks.
That's the big one.
All right,
I feel like
so-
it's very obvious who my number 1 is, but let's start at 5.
No, let's just say our number 1, and then we'll go 5 to 4. So
Okay.
On 3, 1, 2, 3, Tom Brady.
motherfucking Brady.
You can't argue. He's the
He's
GOAT.
got rings. He's got every single category that you can have as a quarterback, for like stats wise. Tom Brady owns it, and before people freak out on me and be like, "Oh, Drew Brees has more touchdowns and passing yards,"
But how many finishing rings does he have?
you got to count. You got to count the playoffs. You have to,
Yeah.
because the playoffs are everything. Brady had 86,000 yards passing, 570 something touchdown passes career in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's how many. Nobody has ever thrown for more yards or more touchdown passes than Tom Brady has in the NFL.
When you count the playoffs.
You have to count the playoffs.
Yeah, it's
in
part of the game.
NFL games that matter.
Yeah, it's
Tom
part of
Brady
his,
leads the stats in every category,
So are his career percentage.
except for maybe QBR.
Yeah. Tom Brady 6 championships. He's the GOAT. Gets it done.
He's
He
the
puts
guy.
the ball where he. The Tom Brady special is
Get
giving,
your team in a position to win.
and that's the Tom Brady special. He's not
That's
the
it.
Hail Mary King.
Whether it's a touchdown or a field goal or just running out the clock,
Bill, where do you need me to get the ball? To 30. I got you.
he's there.
Yep. All right. So Tom Brady, we all knew who's the GOAT. So let's go to number 5. My number 5. We'll go beat one by one. My number 5 is Dan Marino.
Oh, okay.
So Dan Marino.
Not in my top 5.
Dan Marino had 0 championships, but I think Dan Marino was one of the greatest quarterbacks to play on a shitty fucking team.
No argument.
In 1996, he was the only. He became the first QB in NFL history to pass for more than 50,000 career yards. Became the first quarterback in NFL history to complete 400 touchdown passes. So he's creating the expectations of what.
He's moving the benchmark.
Yes.
Yeah.
In 1999, he became the NFL Man of the Year for all of his charitable works. That's just a little bonus.
Yeah.
He's
a good guy.
he was the first quarterback to reach 60,000 yards in 1999.
That was big too, because back then in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't a big passing league.
Yeah, it was all run.
It wasn't at all. So it's crazy to look at Joe Montana's numbers and his numbers, because he's just skyscrapers above Montana numbers wise.
And coming straight out the gate, straight out of Hell's Gate as a rookie, he was the first rookie to start a Pro Bowl.
Impressive.
And that's the best of the best in the league.
In my 5 spot, I have old school dude Otto Graham.
That's fair.
So he played in the league for 10 seasons and played in 10 championship games.
How many did he come out with?
I think he only lost 2, if I remember correctly.
And these are championships.
Yeah, okay, so the first 4
Prior Super
were
Bowl era.
AAFL championships. And then when the leagues merged, he was put on, they became the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
And then they went on to play in another 6 championships, and I believe they only won 4 of those.
Right.
But still, he was one of the first gunslingers in the league. He had a championship game where he had to beat the defending champions, Baltimore Colts, I believe, at the time. I don't know, this was going way back, way before my time. But he had to play against the defending championship team, and he threw for 370 yards and 3 touchdowns, and also ran for 2 touchdowns.
Impressive.
And beat the defending champs
But
as an expansion team.
I put the team on my back.
Yeah, it's very impressive to do at that time. And on top of that, he was throwing like a pig bladder. Like it wasn't even like a real football nowadays. Like it was like a bloated rugby ball that he was just slinging that sauce.
Like hard leather.
Yeah, very impressive. So that's my 5 spot. Otto Graham. Shout out to the GOAT.
Who's your 4?
My 4, I have Drew Brees at my number 4 spot.
Okay.
All-time leader in all regular season stats. Here you go, guys. He's got 1 Super Bowl, no MVPs.
He's an honorable mention.
Great quarterback. I would
Can't
take
argue.
him. If Brady wasn't a thing, I would have loved to have had him on my team.
Yep.
The Chargers fucked up. Obviously, Breeze was the correct option.
Yep.
Rivers just looked the part.
Played for the Boilermakers.
And the Boilermakers.
Uh,
Is that Purdue? Purdue.
My number 4 is, we mentioned him with a giant forehead, Peyton Manning.
You got him at 4?
Got him at 4.
Oh, man. The
He's a
sheriff.
2-time championship, 5 NFL MVPs,
Mhm.
14-time Pro Bowler,
Mhm.
07 Super Bowl MVP, of course. But he,
No 6 season.
in my research, fun fact,
Mhm.
he also had a sexual allegation against him. When
He did.
I completely
When he was in
forgot.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the story behind that is
Tennessee.
the story behind that was his story. The female side of the story, I'm not going to tell you who's right, who's wrong. I'm going to tell you the story. She said that he pressed his genitals closer to her face. His story was that he was mooning his boys in the back. And it happened. I can't tell you what happened. This is a long time ago. I'm sorry if it happened.
One of the greatest, the sheriff, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I have him at 4.
You have him at 4.
And I'll tell you,
That baffles me. Go ahead and go to 3.
Joe Montana, number 3.
Same.
All right.
Wow.
4-time Super Bowl champion.
I think I already know who you got at 2.
Yeah.
And I'm a little upset by it, but that's all right.
Yeah, and then he was named the NFL's most valuable player twice.
Yeah.
So who do you got at? So you got Joe at 3. Who do you got at 2?
Peyton Manning.
Okay, so you got the sheriff.
I got the
Peyton Manning,
sheriff
great
at 2.
quarterback, great rivalry with.
I think if I got to pick, like if I get to go back in time and Tom Brady's not an option, and I could pick a quarterback from that era to play with Bill Belichick, it would have been Peyton Manning.
And he had
There's no one else I would have rather had the last 20 years.
he had a great
than Tom Brady.
He had a great coach with.
Peyton is
Tony.
a very close second.
He's very good. If you look at one of my favorite things is when you look at the playoff pictures of quarterbacks who played for the AFC Championship game or in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's Peyton and Tom.
Yeah.
More likely than not.
Yeah, I think at one time it was like 13 or 14 years, something crazy.
Yeah.
In the AFC Championship,
It was always them. We got the better of him more often than not, but it's, like I said,
yeah,
great quarterback.
yeah. So
Tom Brady's to go. Let's hear your bullshit Green Bay Packer bias.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
dude.
there it is.
So here's the thing. I know Aaron Rodgers only has 1. I think that Green Bay, because of their defense, they've wasted a lot of his career. He's made a lot of miracles out of nothing. He's
Yep.
the Hail Mary God. Some quick stats on
Yeah.
Aaron. He's the single season QB. He has the single season QB passer rating at 122.
Yep.
He had the single season QB interception percentage at 0.3.
Mhm.
He was a 2-time NFC Offensive Player of the Year, so he was a 2-time MVP. And then he was the NFL Player of the Year twice. But Aaron, for me, is the second GOAT in the league because Tom Brady clearly he gets it done. He knows what to do. He reads the plays. People fucking knock on Brady for making those 5-yard passes, but they're open and Tom Brady
He's
reads
hitting
it.
his open receivers.
You can't. The thing is, let's say you tighten up your defense. You're
If you want to, you can knock that all you want. Stop it.
But yeah, and here's
There's a reason they're not stopping that because they're taking the deep ball away.
Yeah,
Because they saw.
you got to respect it.
Yeah, you saw what happened in 07.
Yeah,
And
right.
he was destroying the league. That
Deep
deep ball is
threat.
accurate.
Yeah, so you have to give him those
Yeah, you
inside
have
routes.
to give him the inside routes.
Aaron,
And he hits them. And
Aaron's elusiveness in the pocket, his scrambling, his Hail Marys, those passes where he scrambles and throws to the out of bounds line and his receiver literally catches it to a pinpoint, only one shot to catch it on his tiptoes, 40 yards down the field on the scramble. His athleticism, his entire just way he plays the game. Tom Brady's still a GOAT, but for me, the way that Aaron Rodgers plays the game at quarterback, I know that there's more quarterbacks with better stats, but Aaron, for me,
Stats drove my top 5. I will say, skill-wise, I would put him in the top 5 all time. I'd probably have him at 3 if it was just solely based on skill.
yeah.
Just because
Payne's still got a ton of records.
Peyton's got the records, Brady's got the championships and the numbers. Aaron has just like when I play Madden,
Mhm.
I play like Aaron Rodgers. I'm
Yeah.
very mobile.
And he's not like
Very
a scrambler.
accurate.
He's just a mobile.
He's just a mobile guy.
Like-
he's a mobile pocket passer, which is very impressive.
like
he's
Russ
a better Russell Wilson.
Russ does it where he takes a broken pocket.
Russ
and-
might be a little quicker, like foot speed,
Yeah.
but he's not as accurate on the run.
It's basically, instead of having a protected pocket, you add time because a defensive back's got 3.5 seconds?
Yeah.
And so if you can't stop the quarterback in 3.5 seconds, you're creating gap. And all the receivers are running to, if you're running a zone, that means
He's the best at the post 3-second pass.
Yes. And just the way that he plays the game, and you can call it bias all you want. I didn't put Brett Favre in my top 5.
My God.
I wanted to. The interception king.
Yeah.
I'm gonna force him in triple coverage. He was great.
Was it for every one touchdown he threw an interception and a half or something like that?
I'll read that.
Okay. I love Brett Favre. Brett Favre's the fucking man. I would love to have a beer with him.
Keep going.
Aaron's nowhere near my top 5 all time. That's just not going to happen. Maybe at 8, maybe. I don't know. Aaron. Oh, here he is. Aaron's the man. Great football player. Not in my top 5. Let's see this.
This is how
milk
much
advertisement.
I got this from my high school. Look how much I love this man. Okay, I got a Brett Favre.
That's a young Brett too.
Yeah, this is
It's not too young. He's got a little grays in his
This
beard.
is a 2004 Brett Favre.
Are you?
What?
A sexual harassment?
Oh no, the card. This is old. It leans against. I used to put this in my shower to scare my mom.
To scare your mom, huh?
My mom would work second shift, so she'd come
So
home.
you would shower with Brett Favre.
No, we had
Interesting.
separate.
You heard it here
We
first.
had separate showers. I would put this in her bathroom, and she'd turn on the light, and it'd be Brett Favre standing in the corner. But yeah, dude, that's our top 5. We got plenty more content. This is an hour and a half long podcast.
Long podcast.
Dude, thanks for listening. If you listen all the way to the end, dude, fucking tweet me, fucking free t-shirt, and I'm going to get it to you. But you got pay shipping and handling. Unless you're my fans in Sweden, Switzerland, or Ireland, you hit me up, and I'll fucking get you the shit. Tons of shit to come. Cut. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for listening, guys. It's amazing.
All right, we're
Good
going to play
time.
some pool. I'm going to lose. Probably throw on a hoodie. It's a little chilly.
I'm going to go pee.
Yep. All right,
Peace
see ya.
out.